So far in the month of July, it's been a wild ride. We had the big beautiful bill passed on July 4th. We had NASDAQ hitting all-time highs, S&P hitting all-time highs. We have Bitcoin hitting all-time highs right now, sitting at 118. We also had Donald Trump calling for a 3-point rate cut from the Federal Reserve. He's calling for Jerome Powell to resign, to quit, and now we're hearing rumblings of Jerome Powell considering stepping down from being the chairman. They're stepping down completely out of the Federal Reserve, not only as the chairman. So what does that mean for you and me? What does that mean for everybody who are investors? Let's start with the big beautiful bill. So the big beautiful bill, I'm no economist, but from what I'm gathering and thinking about all these bills that have passed in the past, what is one thing that most of these bills have been? Inflationary. And what happens in an inflationary environment to our assets? They get inflated. So with that being said, the big beautiful bill, I've seen economists saying anywhere from a range of 3 trillion to 5 trillion will be added to our national debt. We kind of are getting a foot ahead, or we're trying to be forward thinking as to how the economy will react once these things do pass. We're looking at tariffs. Tariffs also seeming like they are going to be inflationary. Like I said, I'm no economist, I'm no fortune teller, but I'm betting on these things playing out and these things being inflationary in a longer term. Short term, we may get some dips, we may get some ebbs and flows that definitely coincides with what I am thinking is going to happen within the end of Q3 going into Q4. I think September, which is like we keep talking about, a seasonal bearish time. I mean, this cycle has been totally different, so we can get probably, or we might get a bullish, we might just keep going up only from here, you know, who knows. But seasonality, September is usually one of the worst months in crypto, one of the worst months for investors in the markets, so we will keep our eye out on that. We do have August 1st. These tariffs are supposed to come into effect. He pushed it back from July 9th to August 1st, so if the tariffs do take effect, maybe that is our last opportunity going into August 1st, going down into September, for us to get a little bit. If we miss this pump, if this pump does start to pull back going into August, maybe that could be our last time or our last chance to get some crypto or some you know, some Bitcoin, a little bit of Bitcoin at lower prices, because I do think Q4 is going to be fireworks. So how am I positioning myself with all the news that is happening right now? In my opinion, like I said, I'm no economist. I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm not. I'm just a dude from Detroit who did his homework. But all these things that, from what I've seen and how I gather everything and how I'm looking at the past, I'm looking at past infrastructure bill. I'm looking at the Inflation Reduction Act. None of it helped inflation. None of it. Inflation is still sticky. Inflation is not going anywhere. Of course, inflation can never be zero or negative, but we do want it to come down faster. We do want it to come down and stay down, but that's neither here nor there, and that's not going to happen. So we're positioning ourselves for a massive run up going into Q4 and positioning ourselves for the future, not just Q4, but beyond. I think our national debt is almost, or probably already at a point of no return. If we add 3 to 5, that's going to be around $40 trillion of U.S. debt that we have to continue to roll over at these higher interest rates. And that's why Trump wants to bring these interest rates down. So if inflation stays around where it is, if these tariffs come into effect and we do pay for these tariffs for the most part, and that's inflationary, if this big beautiful bill does play out the way a lot of top economists and a lot of top people are saying it will play out, and as we know, the M2 money supply, they've been doing stealth QE. Everything is pointing towards Bitcoin going bananas. Trump wants a higher stock market. Trump wants a booming economy. But the position that we're in right now, I don't think we can have that booming economy and these booming markets without the regular person who is not investing in assets suffering. So I think all this inflationary details, or all this inflationary things, entail something that crypto is going to boom. Not all crypto, Bitcoin and some, and of course some of the stronger altcoins that have been leading the charge, and probably some new ones that come out of nowhere. The stock market is going to continue to go up. Real estate assets in general are going to continue to go up. Gold is going to continue to go up because I think we're at the point of no return. I honestly do. And we now have a president who is fully committed to making his friends, the 1% richer. I think all of these things tie in to just making the wealth gap wider. The rich are going to get richer, the poor are going to get poorer. Our purchasing power is going to continue to come down, And then we just have to act. We have to act. And I've been preaching this over the past few years, and now I think it's like, please, it's really time to start locking in, taking advantage of these markets. Because if you're holding dollars, I was talking to one of my guys yesterday, I'm telling him, if you're holding dollars in dollar terms, if you're just looking at it, you got 100,000, you still got your 100,000. You might get, you know, 2, 3, 4% of some type of interest in a bank or high yield savings account, something like that. But if inflation is 2-3%, let's say it's 3%, you're making 4%, you're really only making 1%. So you need something that's going to outpace inflation tremendously. And I think it's just going to continue to get worse. So you need something that's going to outpace all these things that are happening. And we got Trump for another 3.5 years. And I think the stock market is going to continue to boom under Trump, which is what he wants. I think the economy, I don't think they're going to let a recession happen. Now, it may happen, but if it'll be very short-lived. Unemployment starts to come down, if things start to deteriorate, then that's going to be another catalyst for them to start to pump money into the markets, pump money into the economy, more stimulus. So it's just so much inflationary pressure that I see building up, and it all leads to a $200,000 to $250,000 Bitcoin, stock market going insane. And eventually, I think Bitcoin, like when it's all said and done after Trump's term, Bitcoin could easily be at 250 to 300,000 in the next 3.5 years, because Trump is all about growth, and growth is going to come at the cost of the everyday American. It's going to come at the cost of inflation. They're not trying to bring inflation down. They're not trying to curb the real problem. I'm trying to tell you. They are going to try to outgrow it. And I don't think it's going to work, because it hasn't worked in the past. It's just been, they're raising the national debt. They're raising the debt ceiling. Just throw the debt ceiling out. Wow, it's not a ceiling. It's not a ceiling. It's an elevator. Like, it's just going to keep going up. It's going to keep going up. And so just position yourself. We had a lot of things happen in July, like I said. And I think all these things are going to tie in to my thesis going into Q4, going into the end of Q3, going into Q4, and just be prepared and be ready. And when it comes to just investing in the overall crypto market, which this channel is crypto focused, then I think you have to, of course, we save in Bitcoin. Well, of course I save in Bitcoin, but you do have to look for some opportunities to knock it out the park. And that time is coming. So I really want you to be prepared. I really want you to like and subscribe so you can get this information when I do bring it out, because I do a lot of research, I do a lot of analysis, and I definitely want to bring it out and reach the most people. So I need everybody to like, subscribe, get this message out so we can get it to the people in a timely manner, because I think the time is coming when, even though Bitcoin is high, Bitcoin is 118, altcoins really aren't moving like that. Some are, some outliers, but altcoins are really not moving like that. So I think we do still have a little bit of time to change our lives, get in some of these plays to change our lives, and be ready in a position for when that time does come, when these altcoins start to move, and I mean really move, to catch some of these plays and change our life. So this is FD White. I appreciate everybody for watching. Like I said, like, subscribe. We do have some links if you are a trader. Breakout, Bitunix, and we have BYDFI down some very good promotions down in the down in the description, links in the description. And I appreciate you, man. Let's get it. Lock in, tune in, and hold the fort, hold it down, and see you in a minute.